is Tuesday, October 23rd, and I want to welcome you to City Hall. We have several items in the committee today. Just a couple of homekeeping, housekeeping, whatever you want to call that. We'll have 1 minute per speaker on this item. Many of you have written eloquent testimony and letters, and sometimes you find yourself running out of time, so you can get to the point of your comments. We would appreciate that very much. If you find that the previous speaker has stated your point, you can just say, I agree with the previous speaker, and give us anything different or in addition to allow us to move forward in our decisions. We truly appreciate that. Today we have two parts of the committee. We have the regular committee item, and then we have a special agenda. The special agenda was scheduled for 3 o'clock, so the Brown Act, I can't get to it till 3, so we're going to go through the first part, which we might go kind of quickly. So we might have to pause for the 3 o'clock hour. So that being said, I've been joined by the Honorable Councilmembers Mitch Englander, and I understand that Councilmember Weezer will be joining us shortly. On item 1, we do have cards, and we were going to. Roberto, you want to read item 1 to the record?
Yes. Council members, item 1 is a transmittal from the Planning Commission. It's a proposed supplemental use district denoted as the Encinitas Avenue Supplemental Sign District in CD7.
Okay. Now the cards are here only if we're not, well, let me put it this way. I'd like to move on consent on all 4 items, if you agree, Councilman Englander?
Yes.
Okay, that'll be the agreement that we will move on consent on all 4, but on that item, we would request the city attorney to prepare the ordinance on item 1. And I've been told by the clerk that if they were not on consent, that's when folks wanted to speak. Since they're all on consent, I admire your wisdom and not feeling compelled to speak. So they're all on consent?
City Attorney here, just for sake of clarification, on item number 1, which is the sign district, the City Attorney Office, would you like us to change the definition? It's the signs are classified now as off-site signs, but my understanding is that we could classify them as on-site signs, and any of the businesses that are on those 4 lots could advertise an on-site sign in that sign district.
Okay, and between now and council, we could reaffirm that with the council office to make sure that we are consistent with the policymakers' goals?
Yes, correct.
Okay, we'll do that. I want to thank the staff for the hard work, because I know there's a lot on your desks, a lot on your plates, and you're pushing out the cases, so I thank you very much for your hard work. We do have time for the Director of Planning on item number 5, and Michael, you want to cite codes, you're welcome to. I'm just kidding, we're up to 3 o'clock.
Thank you. How about tell some jokes?
All right, go for it.
Michael LeGrand with the Planning Department. A few things to report to you. We've had a very productive week in the Planning Department. As you know, recently we had adopted by the full City Council the Hollywood Community Plan. On the tails of Hollywood also came the San Pedro Community Plan, which is currently out for public review as a draft. In addition, the Sylmar Ground of Hills plans have also been out for public review, and we're getting great feedback on those. And recently, the West Adams Community Plan, one of the first of the 3 South LA community plans, is currently out for review and available on our webpage. So we're very excited to see our policy planning in the city of Los Angeles be more productive and more in line with what the neighborhoods would like to see, as well as create investment opportunities for many areas who've been overlooked for years. So we're happy to see that program launched and healthy. We're currently preparing the budget for next fiscal year, so we'll be working with this committee to get your ideas on some work program items that you've raised through various council motions and discussions with us, so we'll be happy to bring those forward. In addition, the department has been busy participating on panels in the industry. Most recently, as you know, the American Planning Association had their national conference in Los Angeles. Following that, Railvolution, which is a large transportation planning and also rail infrastructure and transit-oriented development planning conference, was in Hollywood, and I participated on a panel discussing kind of some comparisons to Los Angeles. I was also joined by Diego Cardoza from Metro, as well as a planning director from the city of Santa Monica, and we had a great discussion around TODs and transit and the opportunities for job creation as well as economic development. And so it's nice to see these national conferences come into Los Angeles and join our climate, as well as hearing about the best practices that we're accomplishing through the work of this Plum Committee and the City Council and Mayor. A few other items. Today we're really happy to have the NBC Universal project before you. As you know, a year ago, 2 years ago now, we created a major projects unit headed by John Foreman, and that's the same unit that brought you the Event Center and Convention Center modernization, as well as many significant hotel projects and economic development opportunities and job creation for the city. Today, NBC Universal is a huge milestone for that group, and so I'd like to thank them for their work, and we look forward to continuing to staff that group appropriately, to have planners that have kind of a regional perspective when they look at projects such as this, as well as good relationships with the county, as well as other city departments, the CLA, CAO, city clerk. But the speed at which these projects have been able to go through the entitlement phase is something we haven't seen before, but while also expanding our public outreach and our analysis to make sure that the projects we give you have been well vetted and have been creative and had a new look at urban design, something a lot more sophisticated than what you've seen in the past. So I'd like to applaud the department staff for doing that, as well as the applicants for all their work in bringing these projects forward to you. If you look at the model before you today, I think you can see the level of detail and context that goes into a development like this is something that's really above and beyond what we've seen in the past. We're really excited to be here talking about these great opportunities for Los Angeles. And that concludes my report.
Planning Director, I wanted to, we speak of this speed and this inertia that gets created with all the energy that gets goes along with these kinds of projects. They're very important because these are jobs that we need. But I also want to take a moment to recognize the staff because many of them are working throughout the weekend, all night in some instances, to get to these particular thresholds. And I just want to make sure that I publicly acknowledge their sacrifices. Losing 40% of your staff means that 60% is not carrying almost twice the load. And I just want to make sure that everyone is clear that we are trying our best to be consistent, but we also need to be clear as to what we are delivering as a legal product and as the planning discipline dictates how we reflect the process. And I'm saying this for a reason as we get into this discussion in the next 5 minutes. We've been joined by Councilman Huizar. Welcome, sir. And is there anything else, Roberto, we need to cover on the regular agenda?
Public comment.
Okay, let's do public comment.
Mr. Chair, if I could just be counted as an aye vote on the consent items.
Okay, well, make sure that you're an aye vote on all the consent items. Thank you, sir. Thanks for the reminder. So went through all the cards, and I see no public comment card on the regular agenda. So that means, folks, we have 5 minutes till 3. It sounds a little tedious, but the Brown Act requires that we start the special agenda at 3 o'clock. So again, we were too efficient. We were too quick, and we have 5 minutes to spare. So hold on to your hats, folks, and we'll be right back. Thank you. Okay. 3 o'clock, straight up. All right, here we go. Thanks. We can do, this is the special agenda that we are now commencing. Roberto or Mr. City Attorney, is there anything formal we should state for the special agenda?
Sure. If you wanted to read into, it's transmittal report with recommendations from the Planning Commission relative to the NBC Universal project, which involves a general plan amendment, an ordinance affecting zone changes, and a draft development agreement, and a request to LAFCO for pre-annexation procedures.
Okay. With that, a big drum roll for our presenter. Please give us your name. And again, thank you for your weekends. Thank you for those all-nighters, how hard you and your team worked on this. So I appreciate everything you've done. And please give us your name.
Good afternoon. I'm Mariana Salazar with the City Planning Department. I'm the staff planner who worked on processing the environmental impact report and entitlements for the project.
You and who else?
Along with my team, which consists to my left of Alva Nuno O'Donnell and our manager, John Foreman, who is in
You guys
charge
wanna
of
stand?
our major
Yes?
project section.
Go ahead, stand. You can stand, yes. Give them a round of applause,
We couldn't have
folks.
done it
Come on.
without them.
Let's show some love. They worked hard. Thank you, Alvin. Thank you.
We have an MOU between the county, and we worked hand in hand with the County Department of Regional Planning, and the staff planners are with us as well, and they're to our left. And I'd like to introduce Kim
Thank you.
Soleil and Samuel Day.
Thank you. Welcome to the city, and it's a pleasure to work with the county to get to this threshold. Congratulations, and thank you so much. Yes, they deserve it too.
So under this MOU, Councilman, we worked hand in hand with our colleagues in the environmental review, and this contract established that the city is the lead agency. The NBC Universal project is within both the city and the county of Los Angeles. The overall project consists of 1.8 million square feet of office and studio uses and entertainment uses, and 2,000 hotel rooms. The city portion of the project includes 50,000 square feet of studio use, including existing square footages, and almost 584,000 square feet of studio office uses, and one 500-room hotel. The portions of the project in the city are at the periphery of the project site, and they're important because they serve as the gateways into the project. These are along major travel corridors adjacent to the river and the Metro Red Line Universal Stop. The entitlements before you this afternoon include the request to certify the environmental impact report and the mitigation monitoring and reporting program, and statement of overriding considerations as modified by the City Planning Commission. A general plan amendment to Regional Center Commercial, and this is consistent with the general plan framework. A zone change for commercial uses to accommodate the applicant's request for motion picture and television uses. The City Planning Commission directed us to go back to them with a detailed sign ordinance, and we will do that this Thursday at their regular meeting. This item is not before you today. A development agreement is included, which entails the applicant's proposed public benefits. This project also proposes an annexation and detachment and boundary adjustments to address areas where there is development across jurisdictional boundaries. There is also a request for an amendment to the sphere of influence, since the project site is currently included in the City of Burbank's sphere of influence. So our comments are brief this afternoon. In light of all of the speakers we have here today, we're available to answer any questions the committee has.
Okay, before you leave, there's a motion that's being proposed, written by the council office. Have you had a chance to review the motion?
No.
Can you please review that while public comment? Then that way we could
Okay.
take the next step if necessary.
We'll do that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we have quite a few. All right, there we go. So we'll start off with the applicants. And we do have two cards representing the applicants. And we have with us Corinne Verderi.
Corinne Verdery.
Hi, and I don't know, a George Milston? George Milston, come on up.
Good afternoon. My name is Corinne Verdery, and I'm the Chief Real Estate Development and Planning Officer for NBC Universal. On behalf of NBC Universal, I would like to thank Chairman Reyes, Councilman Huizar, and Chairman Englander, or Councilman Englander, for allowing us to be here today to discuss the Evolution Plan. For nearly 100 years, Universal has been an integral part of the region as one of the largest working studios in the world and a top Los Angeles tourist destination. The Evolution Plan will enable us to invest $1.6 billion in this important property well into the future. The property consists of approximately 391 acres located in both the city of Los Angeles and unincorporated county of Los Angeles. The yellow lines on this map show the property boundaries. The purple lines represent current city boundaries, and the blue lines represent current county boundaries. The project site is generally bounded by the Los Angeles River to the north, Barham and residences to the east, the 101 freeway to the south, and Lankershim Boulevard to the west. As you can see, approximately 70% of the property is located in the county, and 30% of the property is located in the city. In 2006, NBC Universal announced our plan to create a roadmap for the future. The Evolution Plan, as generally proposed, included investment in our production and tourism businesses and a new mixed-use residential community developed on a portion of our backlot. As you know, in July of this year, we made the difficult decision to accept the no residential alternative in the final EIR and focus our 20-year plan on our core businesses of production and tourism. The no residential alternative was identified as the environmentally superior alternative in the final EIR and was a direct result of comments received by the community, Councilman Labange, and Supervisor Gilstrap. The no residential alternative eliminates nearly 3,000 residential units and associated retail uses, which represents over 3 million square feet of development that will now not occur. In total, for the city and county, the no residential alternative includes 1.5 million net new square feet of studio and office uses, 327,000 square feet of net new square feet of entertainment uses, 2 500-room hotels, and no residential or related retail uses. As I mentioned, 30% of the Evolution Plan is located in the city, separated into 5 areas of the property, 3 of which have little to no changes in the future. In the first area, we are currently renovating the old Technicolor buildings to create a West Coast broadcast center that will be home to NBC4 and Telemundo's Cavea. For the first time in history, all of our news operations will broadcast live from Los Angeles. These buildings will remain unchanged as part of our 20-year plan. The next area is along the 101 freeway and today has a bus parking lot. In the 20-year plan, we are proposing a low-rise technical support building along the freeway edge. The next area of the property at Barham Boulevard and the freeway will remain similar to today with the existing signage and possible infrastructure support. Now moving to one of the major theme park entrances, Universal Hollywood Drive. On the north side of the street, we are proposing a new administration headquarters building and a new 500-room hotel. And finally, at Barham Boulevard, where we have our existing Lakeside Plaza office building, we are proposing an additional studio office building with a parking structure, as well as expansion to our existing child care center. At this edge, we will also open our property to the public and extend the bike path coming from Forest Lawn Drive to our property to create a nearly 1-acre park along the river. The remaining portion of the river edge is owned by the County of Los Angeles, and we have committed to working with the county on connecting this edge as part of the overall plan. In addition to the design and construction of the Trailhead Park, NBC Universal has created a total of $3.875 million in overall river and bike improvements, including $3 million to construct the bike path along the county portion of the river edge, $500,000 for planning and design of the river bikeway that will be paid 90 days after city approval, and $375,000 to the city for bike improvements along the streets near our property. These improvements will go a long way to help realize the overall river and bike plans in the valley. In total, the Evolution Plan No Residential Alternative is a monumental investment in Los Angeles. The plan will bring important community benefits, including more than $100 million in transportation and transit improvements, as well as significant investments that will help protect and improve the neighborhoods closest to the property, including $330,000 for community organizations and funding for design of community overlay districts, $650,000 for neighborhood protection measures, and $400,000 for beautification. The plan will also bring a new hotel to the city and generate important hotel and bed taxes that will go directly to the city's general fund. However, the most dramatic community benefit of all is the significant economic and employment stimulus this project will create for the entire region. We stand ready to invest $1.6 billion in Los Angeles, and we are ready to begin as soon as possible. The Evolution Plan No Residential Alternative will create $2 billion in annual economic activity during operations, $2.7 billion in economic activity during construction, and over 30,000 jobs during construction and operations. As one of the largest employers in the San Fernando Valley, NBC Universal has a long-standing relationship with over 30 unions and locals working on the property every day. In addition, we have entered into a project labor agreement with the Building Trades Council to ensure that the project will be built with union labor. I am proud to say that our commitment to being a quality employer and investing in Los Angeles' future has resulted in over 6,500 supporters and endorsements from our neighborhood council, Hollywood Hills West Neighborhood Council, as well as support from business organizations like VICA and Los Angeles Chamber of Commerce, to name a few. Many of our supporters from the community are here today to show their support, and I would now like to ask them to stand and be recognized.
Now, are these the folks that submitted cards that knew this is for a show of hands? If you could please stand. 2 stacks of cards here. I want to thank you. That's a lot of minutes we saved in public comments, so I appreciate that very much. But thank you so much, folks. Thank you for coming, showing your support.
Thank you. Finally, I stand here today asking for your support of the Evolution Plan and allowing us to make this long-term investment in our property that will strengthen the production and tourism industries and create much-needed jobs for Los Angeles. I would now like to introduce George Milton of Latham & Watkins to complete our presentation. Thank you.
Does he get a drum roll?
Yes. Thank you, Honorable Council Members. George Milton, Latham & Watkins, representing NBC Universal. We submitted to you 3 things today, 2 letters and a copy of the presentation Ms. Verdry just presented. And I'd like, if I can, is to walk you briefly through the letter we submitted, which has a number of technical corrections that we're requesting be made to the actions that are before you today. And I'd like to walk you through and staff through those technical corrections. Yes, sir.
So has the staff reviewed these technical corrections?
We submitted that to staff earlier today, and you'll have to ask the staff if they've reviewed those.
Mr. Foreman? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So I will briefly walk you through the technical corrections we're requesting. The letter is dated October 23rd, 2012, and it goes through a number of technical corrections. The first is proposed zone change ordinance. We've attached attachment A to the letter, which has some technical corrections to the zone change ordinance. I don't believe any of these are particularly controversial. Some are just grammar changes that need to be made. One item is to remove the open space section of the Q conditions to the development agreement where it's be covered in the development agreement. That's attachment A. The second item is attachment B, which are some technical corrections to the development agreement. The first is to add the provisions with respect to Trailhead Park into the development agreement where we believe they should be contained. In addition, there is a correction to the language regarding the sign ordinance, which will be coming before the council later, and a voluntary limitation that Universal is placing on its own signs for the property. And the third is a correction to the assignment provisions, just to make it read technically correct. The third item in the package is a new or revised conceptual plan for Trailhead Park. The one is that referenced in staff report was contained originally in the EIR. That Trailhead Park was envisioned when there were 3,000 residential units on the property. The revised Trailhead Park really reflects what will be done today with the Trailhead Park to provide access to the river. And so we'd request that adoption of that conceptual plan. The next attachment is attachment D, which is adding in some additional mitigation measures that Forest Lawn has requested, adding in additional mitigation measure with respect to retaining wall screening, and adding a limitation on the amount of grading the property can undertake. And then finally, the last item is some edits to the findings, which are just necessary to bring the findings into conformity with the action the Planning Commission took. With those changes, we would ask for your approval of the evolution plan and the staff items that are before you. We appreciate your time and attention in this matter and are stand ready to answer any questions you may have following the public presentation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Milston. Representing the council office, Renee Weitzman, would like to come on up. I understand there's a motion you'd like for us to introduce, but why don't you do your presentation first, and then we can follow up with the motion. But do your presentation, please, Ms. Weitzman.
Thank you
Welcome.
so much, Councilman Reyes, Chairman, and Councilman Englund and Weezer. You have before you today, as you can see on the table here, a revised project called Alternative 10. This is a project that does not include any residential units. When NBC Universal announced their long-term plan for their Universal properties some time ago, it included some 3,000 residential units. Councilman Labange was a vocal opponent of the residential component on this property. Councilman is in full support at this time on the new revised project. Universal turned 100 this year, and we hope that they will continue on many more 100 years. We are extremely happy that Universal will continue to grow and be the entertainment capital of Los Angeles. Tourism and jobs are so important, as we all know. This project, with $100 million towards traffic mitigations and the jobs that it will produce, is so important to the city of Los Angeles. And we are extremely proud to support this project. We want to thank NBC. We want to thank Comcast for coming up with Alternative 10. We want to thank the planning staff who has worked endlessly on this project, and I want to apologize to the staff for not giving them a copy of the motion that we just came up with 5 minutes ago. Sorry, John and Mariana, I'm really sorry. We also want to thank NBC Universal for working with all of our communities and helping them for their future and providing funds, not just for the river, but for many beautification projects in the community. We have a couple additions to make, and that would be $50,000 in addition for the neighborhood protection for the outpost area. Also $200,000 for Cahuenga Boulevard beautification projects. which will be put in a designated trust fund and to be used with consultation with the council office. Funds to be paid in the trust fund in equal installments over a 4-year period. With that, and our motion that we presented today, which is to clarify how the funds will be distributed and when, we fully support this project, and if you have any questions, please ask.
Thank you, Ms. Weitzman. My assumptions are that with the guidance of the city attorney, we can fold this in as part of our directions once we conclude, if my colleagues agree.
Yes, that's right. If the committee directs us to do that, we can do that.
Okay, then that'll be the step we take. And thank you. I think each one of my colleagues has a copy of the motion as well.
I kept it short for you, Councilman.
Thank you very much. Let me show you the stack we have in front of us still. So I know you're going to hang in there for every speaker, right? I don't think she heard me.
She's leaving already. Get her back here.
All right, I do have some questions. Well, let's do this. Let's go through the cards. And I understand these are arranged in such a manner where I want to first acknowledge the community for taking the time. And if you can make me aware when Councilman Krikorian comes in, we can interrupt the flow and allow Councilman Krikorian to speak as soon as he gets here. So that being said, let's go up to the first row of speakers. I'd like to come on up and just form a line behind the microphone. We would truly appreciate it. We have Anastasia Mann, Andrew Westall, Kristen Michaels, and Duke Perrin, I believe. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having us here. Very much appreciate the time. My name is Anastasia Mann. I'm the president of the Hollywood Hills West Neighborhood Council. 100% of the area of this project that is part of the City of Los Angeles is included in the boundaries of the Hollywood Hills West Neighborhood Council. And we have spent many, many years going back and forth on the issues of concern to our community. We have over 65,000 homes and businesses represented within our boundaries of the Hollywood Hills West Neighborhood Council. I think we're one of the largest in the entire city. With the recent changes with the NBC evolution plan and the no alternative residential section, also with their agreement to not have digital signage, which affects the neighboring houses, our neighborhood council voted on September 19th to support the plan, and we overwhelmingly thank Universal and everybody involved with this project for seeing and listening to the interests of our community and taking action. And I have a little letter for you.
Thank you very much.
Did I make it? Yeah.
Right at the wire. That was wonderful. Thank you very much. Our next speaker, please come on up. Give us your name.
I'm Kristen Michaels. I'm representing the Cahuenga Pass Property Owners Association. Thank you for the opportunity to address this committee. My comments in this letter are direct, and the letter that you have in front of you are directed only to the City of Los Angeles portion. We will reserve our comments regarding county matters for the county hearings next year. Our community is relieved and pleased that the enormous backlot residential development, including the Great Road that was to spill out traffic onto our community's local streets, has been removed from the plan. This has been long a bone of contention for the unprecedented amount of traffic that this development would have created, in addition to the loss of the Universal backlot, which is not only part of the entertainment industry's history, but also a generator of good-paying long-term jobs. We are also very relieved that the billboard at the corner of Barham Boulevard and Buddy Holly Drive will remain as it is now. It will not be digitized, and it will remain in the Mulholland Specific Plan jurisdiction. We agree that no digital signage should be present in any part of the NBC Universal lot that is within the city of jurisdiction.
Can you please conclude?
And in closing, I will say that this board and our community is in support of the city portion of the evolution plan.
Thank you, ma'am. Next speaker.
My name is Duke Perrin. I'm president of Campo de Cahuenga Historical Memorial Association. We are the Friends Organization of Campo de Cahuenga right across the street from NBC Universal. We support the evolution plan. When opposing the Metro Plan DEIR, we asked that NBC Universal place their development on their property. They did just that. We're a member of Communities United for Smart Growth, and we believe that NBC Universal needs to continue working with the surrounding communities to mitigate concerns over the life of the plan. We are willing to help the Planning Department staff draft the CDO to provide measures to assist the Campo de Cahuenga associates in protecting, preserving, and interpreting our important historic site. And we want to see continued involvement in the mitigation program and phasing plan to ensure that before the next phase of project development is started, that traffic and transportation issues are resolved. And last, we need to ensure that environmental issues in the county that affect the surrounding communities in the city of LA are resolved.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Andrew Westall, are you here? Andrew? Okay, the last call. Ron Miller? Ron Miller, come on up. Bill Luddy? Ron Wood? And Jessica Duboff? Please come on up. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Councilman. I'm Ron Miller, Executive Secretary of the Los Angeles Orange County Building Construction Trades Council. We represent 140,000 members with 52 affiliated local unions and 14 trades. Due to the economic downturn in this country, we're still facing 30 to 40% unemployment. This project could not come at a better time. With the fiscal problems in the state of California and the country, with the outsourcing of motion picture and television business, it's a tribute to NBC Universal that they have a plan to reinvest in the community, strengthen their commitment to being a good community partner. They're keeping good-paying, middle-class jobs in Los Angeles. This project will create over 30,000 jobs over 10 years under an all-union project labor agreement with the building trades. These jobs are part of careers in construction. They allow people to send their kids to college, to have health benefits, and good, secure retirement. The building trades urge you to support this project. Let's get the city working again.
Thank you, Ron. And as you walked up to the microphone, everyone got up just like in church. You guys were great. Very synchronized. Very well done. Good afternoon, sir.
I'm Ron Wood, President of the Valley Economic Alliance, and I too want to tell you a story of jobs. Last Thursday, we held the largest job fair in the Valley in Woodland Hills. We had over 2,000 applicants seeking jobs from 90 employers. Our goal was 300 placements. Now, I ask you to think of that in contrast to what you just heard. This is over 30,000 jobs, more than 100 times as much. We're here in support of jobs, and we would encourage the same message as the previous speaker, Mr. Miller. We fully support this and encourage a yes vote as soon as possible.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
I'm here on behalf of Bill Luddy. My name is David Kirsch. I'm here on behalf of the Carpenters Contractors Cooperation Committee, which is comprised of the Southwest Regional Council of Carpenters and the signatory union contractors. The Carpenters have a long and positive working history with NBC Universal, and we are proud to stand here and show our support for this important project, for this local employer that will provide jobs for local workers. This project is about looking to the future of Los Angeles, about ensuring this key industry can continue to thrive and grow. And it is about the future of working families in this town and the ability to maintain a strong middle class and a sense of hope to better our lives. This important project will provide economic and revenue benefits to the entire community, the entire city. This investment of over $1.6 billion will create more than 30,000 good-paying jobs during construction and operations. In regards to construction, these are good-paying jobs that include health care and pension benefits, along with apprenticeship and training opportunities for our youth in our community. So we urge your support for this project. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you and your crew. Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Jessica Duboff. I'm here on behalf of the Los Angeles Area Chamber of Commerce in support of the NBC Universal Evolution Plan with no residential use. As the film production capital of the world, maintaining a strong entertainment industry is vital to the LA region and our economy. In California, the motion picture and television industry contributes $17 billion in wages, including production, distribution, and a myriad of vendor-related jobs. NBC Universal's project will include upgrades and improvements to studio production and post-production facilities, new media-related office space, and enhancements to the Universal Studios Hollywood theme park and City Walk, all which will help maintain the signature film and tourism industries here in Los Angeles. NBC Universal's project overall represents a $1.6 billion investment in LA and creates more than 30,000 good-paying jobs during construction and operations, a substantial contribution to the local economy and stimulator of financial growth. The LA Chamber of Commerce urges support for the latest version of the NBC Universal Evolution Plan. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Andrew Westall, I understand you're in the building. Andrew Westall. We have Matt Poyer, Scott Strobel, Esmeralda Bendy, Bert Champagne, and Sean O'Grady. Come on up. Andrew Westall. I'm sorry, can I have Andrew step on up, if you don't mind, sir? Thank you.
Good afternoon, council members. Andrew Westall, I'm the Vice President of the Greater Toluca Lake Neighborhood Council. Last week, our Neighborhood Council voted on a 12-to-1 vote to support the Universal Evolution Plan. Universal has been good partners and neighbors with the community, and we've worked with them a lot on noise issues and traffic mitigation issues, and so we're very supportive and happy with the plan that's before you today. In our letter, there is one issue that we did ask that the applicant continue to work with us on, and that's dealing with the bus routes that are listed in the traffic mitigation plan, and particularly where they're located, whether it be Cahuenga Boulevard or Lankershim Boulevard. And so we would ask that the committee put a requirement in these documents that asks that the applicant continue to work with us on this program.
Can you put that in writing so we can have that as a part of the record?
Sure. It's there's actually a letter that was submitted and is part of the public record already.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Our next speaker, please come on up. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. My name is Matt Poyer. I live in the Studio City community. I've been a community member there for over 20 years. I'm also a 34-year employee at Universal Studios who started at the age of 16 selling hot dogs in the theme park. I'm currently in charge of operations for Universal City Walk.
Wow.
I'm also one of 5 in my own family that have worked at Universal, as well as met my wife there, and my sister met her husband there. My wife is also one of 5 that have worked there as well. So my roots for Universal run very deep.
Sounds like a landmark.
Yeah, without a doubt. Universal is one of the finest places to start a career. Little did I know I'd go from selling hot dogs to running one of the largest, most popular outdoor urban entertainment centers in the world. It's all possible at Universal. The Evolution Plan will continue to provide for that opportunity for young workers, just like I did for me so many years ago. So, thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you, sir. Our next speaker.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and council members. My name is Scott Strobel. I'm currently the Vice President of Operations at Universal Studios Hollywood. I'm also a Burbank resident. Have worked with the company, not as long as Matt, but for 30 years. Also similar career path. Was able to start out when I was young. I think one of the interesting things about Universal is it really does believe in promoting from within. And while some of the jobs may start out at 16, they grow into much longer-term careers. The Evolution Plan will be great for the theme park. It will allow us to expand and create brand new experiences for people around the world to see. And I also can't tell you how many people have told me how excited they are about the Wizarding World of Harry Potter that we plan to bring as part of the Evolution Plan. I hope you look favorable on the Evolution Plan, and hope you approve the project today. Thank you very much.
Just one question.
Yes.
Were you the competing hot dog stand? Okay.
Matt was actually my boss for like 3 or 4 years before.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Our next speaker, congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Hello, and good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Ermelinda Bindi. I'm a resident of Toluca Lake, 10861 Moore Park Street, and I've been a resident of Toluca Lake for quite some time, and I'm here as a supporter, not as an employee, unfortunately. I am a returning college student, though. I've enjoyed that as well, a fine art major, and I am a supporter of this project because I firmly believe that we need to invest in the future success of the film and television industry. A healthy and prosperous Universal brings more revenue into the city of Los Angeles and to local businesses that provide the equipment, supplies, and services needed by the studio. As you can tell, I'm nervous.
That's okay. You're good.
Okay. A multiplier effect of the studio investment is potentially enormous. The bottom line is all of us benefit from a thriving studio at Universal City,
Thank
and
you.
I support the
Thank you, ma'am.
the program. Thank you so
Thank you so much, ma'am. Appreciate that. Thank you. Our next speaker?
My name is Sean O Grady. I'm a resident of Studio City and an actor, and that's why I came to California in the first place. While trying to think of what to say and not repeat myself from what I said the last time at another meeting, I was thinking, just looking up at those signs, it's the 100th anniversary of Universal, so they must be doing something right and in their decisions over the 100 years. And secondly, I just looked at the movie Three Musketeers, and their slogan, of course, is all for one, as we are all for one for Universal, and one for all, meaning Universal and all the, how did I put it the other day? All the goodwill that they show toward the city. And this will not only be good for Universal, but it will be good for Southern California and everyone around this area, let's say. LA. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Grady. Thank you. Bert Champagne. Bert? Okay. Bert Champagne. Okay, we go Tracy Rafter. Sorry? Tracy Rafter. Come on up. Dave Grabowski. Bill Brinkmeyer. And Terry Jackson. Come on up. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. I'm Tracy Rafter. I'm wearing 3 distinct hats today. 1, I'm a local resident and homeowner in Sherman Oaks. 2, I'm a local business owner just a couple miles down the road from NBC Universal in Sherman Oaks on Ventura Boulevard. Also, I'm the founding CEO of the LA County Business Federation, or BizFed, which is a massive network of business networks. We represent 190,000 companies right here in LA County. And I can tell you that we stand strongly with a unified voice, and that's a support voice for the NBCU Evolution Plan non-residential version. We must stand up for our precious entertainment industry, and NBC Universal has proven to be a visionary and responsible company in not only building and designing the plan, but modifying it all along to take into consideration all the needs of the community. We cannot turn our back on these jobs and this long-term investment in our region, and we strongly urge you to approve this plan. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next speaker.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Dave Grabowski. I reside at 7191 Woodrow Wilson Drive in the Cahuenga Pass. I'm a former employee of NBC Universal, and I currently serve as a business rep for the electrical workers that work in the motion picture industry. Motion picture and tourism are both vital to the economic well-being of the city of Los Angeles. I respectfully urge the council to take swift action to approve NBC Universal's request to revitalize both of these industries. It's very clear that the common good of this project far outweighs the limited interests of a few. So please help put LA back to work before these vital industries continue to leave town. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker.
Afternoon. I'm Bill Brinkmeyer. I'm Business Manager, Financial Secretary of IBEW Local 40. And my electricians have been serving the motion picture industry for nearly 90 years. And that's why I'm here today, give the strong support for NBC Universal's Evolution Plan. All right. The motion picture industry has been on a decline in California since the tax incentives. NBC's commitment to bring the shows back to the lots is they're putting their money where their mouth is, $2.2 billion in this project. It's under a PLA, and that's what we need. We need jobs. We need jobs now. We need jobs for all unemployed workers. It's a plus for the wholesale houses they're going to be supplying. It's plus for my members. It's plus for the city of LA. It's going to give you $100 million worth of road improvements and 30,000 jobs and also increased tax revenues during the construction and after.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Our next speaker. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Terry Jackson, Universal City North Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, and also an actress, Foster Farms Chicken. In a time when people are pointing to each other, saying, you should do something, you should do something, you should do something, Universal steps up and says, we're going to do something. So yes, do I support it? I think you know. Absolutely do I. And the fact is, Universal doesn't have to do half the stuff that they've said, but they did it because they love the city, they love the community, and they understand that Los Angeles and California is the entertainment capital of the universe. Thank you.
Do we really need another speaker after that? You might want to ask.
Does anyone else want to talk? I mean, I think that ended it all, right? That was the punctuation mark. Okay, here we go. We got a long list. Sorry, guys. Here we go. Patty Gamba, Michelle Gilstrap, Kathy Coakley, come on up. Eric Fetter. Patty Gamba, Michelle Gilstrap, Kathy Coakley, and Eric Fetter. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Michelle Gilstrap, Universal City North Hollywood Chamber Executive Director. Universal City North Hollywood Chamber has been in existence 102 years, and we support Universal's NBC Evolution Plan because it's going to bring 30,000 jobs. It is also going to bring the multiplier effect to all of our members, which means they're going to provide a lot of jobs. They're going to provide food, they're going to provide insurance, they're going to provide a lot of things that our members need. So as we look around at $1.6 billion investment into the city of Los Angeles, who else is going to do that? Not the city, but NBC can, and they are. And we are so happy that they have stepped up and said yes. So please say yes, Councilman Reyes. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, Kathy Coakley, are you here? Eric Fetter, Patty Gamba, all right. We move on. I'm assuming they're not here. John Cresta, Victor Birik, I believe. Nicole Shanian, Patty McJennett, come on up if I called your name. Let's line up behind the microphone. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. I'm Vic Varick. I'm also at the Universal City North Hollywood Chamber of Commerce. I'm past president and possibly next one too. I was born and raised in Los Angeles, and I've been in the North Hollywood area since 1965. As a member of the Chamber of Commerce, we try to make the area, the whole community thrive, and NBC Universal is doing that, especially at this time in the economy. Me being a CPA and realtor, I appreciate the investment of $1.6 billion at a time when the economy is really stagnant and with a fiscal cliff coming up. So really go for it. I mean, this $1.6 billion really helps in providing over 30,000 jobs. So thank you very much, and please vote yes.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Chairman and Council members. My name is John Crasta. My address is 1665 North Sycamore Avenue in Hollywood. NBC Universal Evolution Plan without a residential element will be a great project for our city. It is major investment into our leading job sector at time, when such a private investment is extremely rare in economic climate and continuously turbulent. Truly appreciate NBC Universal commitment to future of Los Angeles. It is extremely important NBC Universal be allowed to upgrade. It is the production and technical facilities keep pace of rapid changing entertainment industry. And it is important for them park so it will continue to attract both tourists and local attendants. I hope you will be recommend approval of the evaluation plan quickly possible to work can be begin.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Our next speakers.
Good afternoon, Nicole Shahanian with the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce. On behalf of the Hollywood Chamber, which represents approximately 1,000 businesses in the greater Hollywood area, I'm here to urge your strong support of this project. NBC Universal is a very important economic engine for the region and for Hollywood specifically, bringing thousands of tourists to the area and helping to promote Hollywood as the entertainment capital of the world. Realization of the evolution plan is important in order to allow NBCU the opportunity for reasonable expansion and to enable the addition of exciting attractions that will keep tourists coming to our city year after year. The Chamber is particularly excited about the more than 30,000 good-paying jobs that this investment will create for LA during construction and operation. Given the current economic difficulties faced by the city and its residents, the Chamber believes we should all be supportive of these projects. Jobs are at stake. If we can't approve a project that will bring jobs and help turn around the economy, then we aren't filling our responsibility to Angelenos. The time to act is now. The Chamber strongly urges your support.
Thank you, ma'am. Omar Bronson, Louis McAdams, Doug Arsenal. And Omar, before you begin, I'd like to invite our Councilman Paul Kokori. I'd like to come on up. I'd like to speak, sir. Come on up. Good afternoon,
Thank you, Mr. Reyes,
Yes.
Chairman Reyes, and members. It's good to be back with you in Plum, and I'm especially pleased to be able to be here with you to talk about this very important project, a project that's going to be so impactful to the future of our city. And I'm very pleased that after many years, actually, of discussion and work by so many in this room, this is a project that, despite its potential for impacts in my district, which is adjacent to the project, this is a project that I want to come here and wholeheartedly support. This is a project that will be transformative, I think, of our entertainment and tourism industry here in Los Angeles, industries that my district is so dependent upon for its economic vitality. The focusing of resources on making more production and more entertainment facilities available will create countless jobs and impact in a positive way the small businesses in my district. I especially appreciate that NBC Universal has made the decision to change course away from the focus on the residential component of this, which was of significant concern to the people of my districts because of its traffic impacts. And despite having eliminated that component, because NBC Universal is still going to make the same investments in traffic mitigations that they would have had that housing was there, I'm confident that this is going to be a net positive for my community, for my constituents. And they seem to agree because I'm pleased that we have the support of the Studio City Neighborhood Council as well as the other neighborhood councils in the district that have had an opportunity to weigh in on this. This is a project that's going to create countless new jobs, both in the construction of it and ongoing, and it's going to benefit the infrastructure of this area as well. I appreciate NBC Universal's commitment to provide $375,000 in funding to the city's Bicycle Master Plan Trust Fund, and $3.5 million for the planning, designing, and constructing of a bike lane along the Los Angeles River, which Chairman Reyes has been such an important part of your legacy of leadership and again, is extremely impactful on my district. I would request, though, because of the continuing concerns that people have in my district about cut-through traffic and other issues that are going to affect residential neighborhoods in the area. First of all, again, let me reiterate that I appreciate NBC's outreach to the community and the fact that they have been good about drawing input. It was a little slow in coming, but when it came, they actually did make significant outreach to the people of my district, and I appreciate it. And having heard those concerns that the people of my district have expressed, I would like to request that NBC Universal provide additional funding for a neighborhood traffic protection plan and community beautification in the amounts of $100,000 and $200,000 respectively for the communities of Studio City and North Hollywood. These are issues that we have discussed, and they've been very positive about that assistance. So again, I want to thank NBC Universal, and I want to thank the residents of my district for their patience and throughout this process, and for helping to deliver a project which is much better for the area, much better for our city, much better for our economy than that which is originally proposed. And I'm very, very excited to be able to support this project. You have before you, I think, already, Mr. Reyes, proposed motion to amend that I would like to submit for your consideration.
Okay.
And with that, I thank you very, very much for having me.
It's always good to have you back to the committee, and it's admirable that this consensus has reached this point, and congratulations to all of you, and thank you for taking the time, Councilmember.
Thank you very much, Mr. Reyes.
Okay, great. And thank you for your patience, Mr. Bronson. I just want to make sure that I know the Councilmember has other committees and stuff, so. But thank you, sir, for your patience, and please proceed.
Thank you, Councilman. Thank you, Council members. My name is Omar Brownson. I'm the Executive Director of the Los Angeles River Revitalization Corporation, and I'm here today to submit a letter in support of the Universal Evolution Plan, in particular because of their commitments to the LA River and the bikeway benefits. This letter has been submitted on behalf of Louis McAdams, President of FOLAR, Bruce Sato, LA Conservation Corps, Jennifer Klausner, the LA County Bike Coalition, the LA River Revitalization Corporation, Irma Munoz from Mujeres de la Tierra, Mark Kenyon from Northeast Trees, Tori Keher from Trust for Public Land, Meredith McKenzie from Urban Rivers Institute, and Miguel Luna for Urban Semillas. So there's been a broad coalition of folks who went to the Planning Commission, raised some concerns. Those issues have been incredibly addressed with respect to the LA River and the bikeway, and we are supportive of it. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you for your time and effort, and all the folks that signed the letter. Please let them know that we are grateful for their participation.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you. Our next speaker.
Good afternoon, council members. I am Louis Gabriel, a union representative for NABIT CWA, Local 53, the broadcast union. Our members will be occupying and working in the new news building at the Technicolor building when it's finished. And NABIT supports this very important makeover of the Universal Studio project. As a former NBC News employee, I see the value of the much-needed evolution plan. And I would like to ditto and ditto and ditto the rest of the speakers because they did a wonderful job doing. And the 100-year-old studio needs upgrading, and that would expand television and movie production for the benefit of the community. The project offers a tremendous investment in Los Angeles, the community, and the entertainment industry. The project would also create thousands of needed jobs in the San Fernando Valley. What a fantastic opportunity for our city. Please vote yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Doug Arson of the Valley Industry and Commerce Association, representing more than 370 businesses that have created over 100,000 jobs in Los Angeles and the surrounding area. I'm also a neighbor of the project in North Hollywood. VICA strongly supports the revised evolution plan. One of our founding principles, one of our guiding principles, is to encourage long-term planning that will significantly create and preserve jobs and tourism in the valley. The 20-year evolution plan is exactly this type of regional investment. The evolution plan represents a $1.6 billion investment in the San Fernando Valley that will create more than 300,000 good-paying jobs during construction and operations. Upon completion, it will be a worldwide model for transit-oriented development and innovative green development. NBC Universal has been and continues to be a dedicated and proactive member of the Valley community. We encourage the city and the county of Los Angeles to support this revised evolution plan without any further delay.
Thank you very much. Next speaker.
Mr. Chairman, Louis McAdams, founder, president, Friends of the Los Angeles River. I just want to say that this has been a model of cooperation between Universal Studios, the bicycle community, the river community, and the neighborhoods. And it's a huge win for the Los Angeles River. This is, as I believe, the very first project that's being built on a large scale that actually is along the river and acknowledges the river and improves the river. And will hopefully be a model for the other 4 or 5 studios that are downstream from Universal. We thank Universal for its involvement, and we look forward to converting the rest of the studios to riverfront banks. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. McAdams. And thank you for your poetry along the river. Another group of speakers, we have Paul Ahrens. Paul, are you here? Shamari Davis. If I already called your name, I apologize, but there's a stack here, and I want to make sure I don't miss anybody. Shamari Davis. Then we have Renee Michaels, I believe. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Paul Ahrens with Affiliated Property Craftspersons, International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees, Local 44, and I'll keep it simple. Please support this. Vote yes.
Wow, what a speech. All right, Paul. How you doing?
Good afternoon, Councilman Reyes. Shamari Davis with IBEW Local 11 Electricians Union. We remember visiting this about a year ago, and hence the evolution. They've come out on the other side with an incredible project. We just want to say, with over 8,000 members, we'd like to get put back to work, and we wholeheartedly support it. Please vote this. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Renee Michaels. I have been a resident of the San Fernando Valley most of my life. I support this project. It would create many jobs now and in the future. It would also make many improvements to the area without expense to the taxpayers. Please vote yes to this project. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, our next group of speakers, we have Piedmont Brown, Fred Garcia, Tom Davis, Myung Susu. Come on up. It says President IATSE 871. And Ed Duffy, come on up. Good afternoon, sir.
Fred Garcia, Painters and Allied Trades, District Council 36. We represent the floor layers, the glazers, drywall finishers, and sign and pictorial, 831. We're here in support of this project, which will bring good jobs, good benefits, and we're 100% in favor of it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, Tom Davis, Third Vice President of the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees and Business Manager of the Grips Union. Here in support of the project. We have a lot of members who will be employed as a result of the project. We have actually a couple locals where their membership will increase as a result of this. So it's not just construction jobs, but it's also permanent, full-time good jobs that will come along with the project. We fully support it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Myung Soo-seok, representing Painters and Allied Trades, District Council 36. Unfortunately, Mr. Robert Smith, who would have been here, was not able to make it today. So on behalf of the business manager, Grant Mitchell, and Bob Smith, I'm here to support this project. And given the unemployment rate that the city is suffering from, and given that this project is spending $1.4 billion of its capital to create good middle-class jobs, we feel that is a project that we'll be very proud of, to stand up for, and to support. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Dooner. I'm president of IATSE Local 871, representing script supervisors, production coordinators, art department coordinators, and accountants who can't wait for this to get built, can't wait for the jobs that NBC Universal is going to bring back to the great city of Los Angeles and the fantastic state of California that have been stolen away by incentives in other areas. We rise strongly in support. We are located in North Hollywood in the city of Los Angeles, and I personally am a resident of the city of Los Angeles in Council District 14.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. I also sold hot dogs at Universal, which is very strange. But my name is Ed Duffy. I'm Vice President of Teamster Local 399, who represents drivers, location managers, casting directors, and others working in the entertainment industry. Our office is located at North Hollywood. Our local is very encouraged by the direction in which NBC's Universal plan is heading. With the no housing alternative that was detailed in the final environmental report, the company is turning its attention to making their studio and theme park businesses better. In these economically competitive times for the entertainment industry in our state, the tremendous job losses we are suffering due to incentives offered by other states and countries, we're glad to see that they are pouring their investment dollars in an industry that employs so many of our members. Teamsters Local 399 wants you to know that we very much support the evolution plan and hope to get through the approval process quickly. So let's get many of the fine people working behind me to work so we can get to work. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. A few more to go, folks. Lane Hamilton Clow, K-L-O-W, if you're here. Piedmont Brown for last call. I believe it's Chuck Cortez. Chuck Cortez, if you're here. David Cohen. David Cohen, Local 755, I believe. Clayton Granger. Clayton, come on up. All right, folks, if I called your name, please come on up. Please give us your name.
Good day. I'm Gene Clow. I'm an architect. I'm a representative of the Greater Toluca Lake Neighborhood Council. I'm the chair of the Planning Committee, and I'm also a member of the Mulholland Scenic Corridor Design Review Board. I've had the opportunity to watch the negotiations and the process over the last few years between NBC Universal and the neighborhoods, and we've been very impressed with the cooperation, and we truly appreciate the amount of sensitivity that they've brought to this process with the communities, and we want to support this project very strongly.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Our next speaker.
Good afternoon, Councilman Reyes. Hello, I'm here today on behalf of Local 755, which is the Los Angeles chapter of Operative Plasters and Cement Masons. For nearly 85 years, we specialize in providing skilled plasters, sculptors, and shop hands to service the motion picture industry. On behalf of our 300 members, I am here today to express support for the NBC Universal Evolution Plan. Working in Hollywood as we do, our job is to create illusions of fantasy and fact. And one huge fact for you to consider when evaluating the merits of this project is the over 30,000 jobs that it will generate. Some say our economy may be on the upswing, but we've got a long way to go. The Evolution Plan is one way to ensure that we put people back to work in this town. I hope you will support me and the rest of Local 755 and get this project approved. Thank you.
And your name one more time?
Chuck Cortez.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker.
My name is David Cohen, council members. I'm the president of Local 755 Operative Plaster Cement Masons. We support this plan. We look forward to the job creation, and we're hoping to bring jobs back to Hollywood as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker.
My name is Clayton Granger. I am a board member of Local 755, and I would like you to look around this room. This is what we do. The ornament you see in here is part of what we do for the movie sets. You know, everything from Transformers to, boats, spaceships, everything, we make that. And I have some sobering statistics about the outsourcing of our movie industry that's been going on since the late 90s. And from 2007 to 2011, industry figures say that we have lost $3 billion worth of wages in LA for our industry here. Also, that means 90,000 job opportunities, and we also have, that's a 10% loss over those years. Now, that's due to other states offering tax subsidies and foreign tax subsidies. So it's very important for this project to be passed, and I hope you do that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Ed Duffy, are you here? Okay. Patrick Kelly, come on up. Tom Inman. Susan Cabral Ebert. James Osborne. Connie Elliott, come on up. Good day, sir.
Yeah, my name is Patrick Kelly. I'm the Secretary Treasurer of Teamsters Local 952, and I'm a trustee with Joint Council 42. Joint Council 42 is the umbrella organization that represents about 120,000 Teamsters here in Southern California. And I want to thank those of you that are served on the City Council. I know not everybody is going to be able to stay, but we appreciate your service. It's a tough time. This is a period of severe austerity. And here we have a union employer that is stepping up and is going to spend money here in Southern California and is going to help bring tourism in and is going to also help put people to work. We have an incredible amount of people out of work, and I want to point out that this will employ a lot of veterans that are out of work, and I want to thank the veterans that are here for their service, and we hope that you make a quick decision on this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Next speaker, please give us your name. Good afternoon.
Greetings. I'm Tom Inman. I'm the business manager of Laborers Local 724 based in Hollywood, part of the Laborers International Union of North America. Our local represents over 1,000 members, about a quarter of which are employed at Universal Studios Hollywood, as well as the main studio lot. And we're here today to support the Universal Studios Evolution Plan. You know, the entertainment business is changing daily. We've seen tens of thousands of jobs leave the state of California, and to help keep these jobs here and to keep our members working, we need to do everything possible to see that entertainment businesses like NBC Universal remain competitive and continue to employ our members and support the community. Universal continues to make large investments updating and improving their venues and facilities. We, the members of Local 724, welcome NBC Universal's proposed investment in Los Angeles, and we applaud their willingness to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Councilman, my name is Susan Cabral Ebert, and I represent the IATSE Local 706, the Makeup Artists and Hairstylists Guild. We have about 1,700 members, and many of us started at Universal. So the fact that Universal is coming back and encouraging the fact that we can have jobs again, we certainly encourage you to please vote yes, because we'd all like to have our jobs back, and they're standing up for us. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon.
I'm Connie Elliott. The Island neighborhood, the closest homes to NBC Universal and Studio City, supports the city portion of the Evolution Plan. It is our expectation that the traffic mitigations be completed along with the phasing schedule, and that there is a resolution of signage that makes it not seen over the treetops and into our homes. Since we will be the ones to hear and be inconvenienced by construction along Langershim Boulevard, we want a responsive hotline to take and act on construction complaints. We support the Studio City Neighborhood Council's conditions as submitted. We would like to thank the Planning Department for their thoughtful consideration of this project and its impact on the surrounding community.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, our next group of speakers, we have James A. Osborne. One more time, James Osborne. Matthew Nelson. Matthew, are you here? David Kirsch. David Kirsch. Rachel Torres. And Deborah Tuner. If you're here, please come on up. Please give us your name. Thank you very much.
Thank you. My name is Matthew Nelson, and I am here representing the employees of Universal Theme Park, Local B192 of the IATSE. Everything from front gate to the tour guides, parking. I represent all of them. And this is the Evolution Plan. I just advise definitely to vote yes on it, because it's upgrading the theme park, it's upgrading the studio, It's a lot of jobs, it's a lot of money coming in for the city and for the entire area. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for taking the time. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Rachel Torres. I'm a research analyst for Unite here, Local 11. On behalf of our 20,000 members, we wish to express our strong opposition with the Universal City Evolution Plan. There are many reasons to oppose it. For example, this project goes against the precedent set by other large projects such as Farmers Field, LA Live, the Village at Westfield Topanga, the USC Specific Plan, and hundreds of other new hotel and tourist destinations here and across the country. This project does not guarantee good jobs for the 2 large 500-room hotels on site. Just last week, we celebrated that the Century Plaza development worked with all of the stakeholders to produce 100% support. In addition, the aggressive process of entitlement should strike this committee as problematic. The signage for this project will be discussed on Thursday and may not be reviewed by this committee at all. Furthermore, the community has also expressed opposition to the unavoidable impacts of traffic, noise, and proliferation of signage. The now preferred alternative 10 was not included in the draft DIR and consists of significant changes.
Please continue.
This may be a violation of the California Environmental Quality Act if not recirculated. For these and other reasons, we respectfully request this committee not support this project moving forward today. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, ma'am. Next speaker, please, folks, please. Just have a little respect. Everyone has the freedom to speak. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Turner, T-U-R-N-E-R. Good afternoon. I am a bartender at the Universal Amphitheater, Gibson Amphitheater, and I've worked there for 19 years. And also I've been a pretty much lifelong resident of Burbank. On behalf of my coworkers, we're greatly disappointed that the new project will not have union jobs at the hotels for bartenders and waiters and everything else like that. I have this job, I have health insurance, I have a living wage, I have security, and those workers at the new hotels, which are 1,000 hotel rooms, will not have those because they will not be union. We ask the committee not to accept this project as proposed because of that information. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, next group of speakers. Fred Gaines and Laura Matcliffe. Fred Gaines and Laura Matcliffe, are you here? Please come on up. Mr. Gaines.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, honorable members. Fred Gaines of the Law Offices of Gaines and Stacy. We represent the Blair Drive residents. These are the residents on the east side of the project that back their houses back directly to the back lot of the studio. They do not oppose the project. They have asked, however, for a set of conditions of approval relating to noise and hours of operations, things that they've lived with for many, many years, to be considered. And so what I ask this committee to do, I know you have a lot of people here, you have a long meeting, but please take the 10 minutes that you would normally take every Tuesday if someone was putting a grocery store or a school to go through these proposed conditions of approval and look to see whether they're reasonable. We believe they are and should be included. That if they're going to do production directly behind these homes, that those hours be limited. If they're going to have explosions at the show at the amusement park, that they be limited on the hours so the windows are not rattling on these homes every hour on the hour all the way till 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. These are very reasonable requests, the kind that you consider and impose almost every Tuesday for all kinds of projects when you have the largest amusement park and entertainment facility in the city.
Mr. Gaines, let me ask you to pause for a second. Let me ask you to pause for a second.
Yes.
The issues that you're raising and the conditions you're requesting, were they reviewed by the staff at any one point in time?
Yes, these are the exact same set of conditions that we proposed to the Planning Commission, that we've provided to staff, that we've met with the applicant about.
And you're saying they were not incorporated in the conditions?
That's correct. And one of the reasons given, the latest reason, was, well, this is the operation is mainly in the county. So the City of LA residents should rely on the county Planning Commission to go through and determine what these conditions
So
are.
you're saying the origination of the potential impact is in the county portion of the project, but the negative impact will be on the city of LA.
These are city residents.
Okay.
The applicant's asking you for an
Okay.
approval. We believe that these can be
Okay,
included.
I'll ask the question of the staff before we make a final decision.
And at the very
Thank you.
least, we would ask, if you're not going to impose them, to recommend to the county commission, which this matter will go to, that they consider and adopt these conditions of approval. Thank you very much.
Okay, next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Laura Ratcliffe from the Mountains Recreation and Conservation Authority. I'm here regarding the signage on the corner that is currently on the corner of Barnum Boulevard and Buddy Holly Drive. That portion of the property is subject to the Mulholland Scenic Parkway specific plan. It was not exempted from the plan as NBC originally requested, which we believe to be the best alternative. However, the sign supplemental use district ordinance that was proposed right now has a loophole in that ordinance section 6T exempts all signage on that area of the property from the Mulholland specific plan. And we think this opens up a problematic loophole in the area going forward. So we'd ask that you consider this issue. I know it's going in front of the Planning Commission on Thursday morning, but we wanted to bring it to your attention. And we've suggested some alternative language in a comment letter that I brought.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, okay, we have the staff. Do we have a microphone that the staff could use, a handheld? Okay. All right. Okay.
John Foreman, Planning Department. You were looking for testimony from the County Regional Planning staff on the noise.
Well, before we get there.
Okay.
And I just want to make sure we're being thorough in our responsibility as a committee. Several points were raised during this session, and I wanted to start off with a response to the recommendations as submitted by Council Members Krikorian and Councilmember Labange. For the record, what is the posture of the staff and what is the recommendation?
Yeah, John Foreman, Planning. The motion.
You come up to the counter, or you want to sit at the table, whatever you think is best. That's okay. Or you can be like a talk show host and walk amongst the crowd.
Just leave it there, and then if you need it, they'll turn it off.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Wait, before you begin, John, I understand there's a couple of folks that have just let our staff know that you were not called and you submitted a card. Okay. Can you please stand and come to the microphone if you wrote a card and were not called? I just want to make sure I cover all my bases here. Okay, that was not by design, believe me.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Yair Kishishin with the Central City Association, representing our 450 members, employing over 350,000 individuals throughout the Southern California region. CCA is here to express our strong support of the no residential alternative to the NBC Universal Evolution Plan by removing the residential piece of the plan and enhancing the entertainment, hotel, and studio components. The project allows NBC Universal to focus on its core strength, namely fueling our region's entertainment industry and keeping Angelenos employed in this critical economic sector. CCA is similarly pleased by NBC Universal's continued commitment to substantial transportation improvements to our freeways and our interior streets, as well as to public transit. And CCA appreciates the immense efforts by our city, the county, and of course the NBC Universal team for making the Evolution Plan a reality. I hope you will join us in our support by moving this project forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker. Can you please fill out a card to make sure we have it in the files? Yes, sir.
Yeah, Chairman Reyes, Councilman. My name is Joe Faulkner. I'm president of the Los Angeles Headquarters Association. I'm here to support NBC Universal's Evolution Plan. Our 51-year-old organization was originally created by DWP to drive business to Los Angeles along with major corporations. We wouldn't mind having that mandate again. Our goals now are to promote healthy and economic growth while enhancing quality of life in greater Los Angeles. NBC Universal has embraced the Evolution Plan, no residential alternative, Los Angeles headquarters concurs with NBC Universal's endorsement of that alternative. Projects such as Evolution Plan are critically important to the economic stability of the region. It also ensures that this nearly 100-year-old gem that we have in Los Angeles has the ability to grow and adapt. We strongly support the plan.
Thank you, sir. I believe one more speaker? One more speaker?
As the last speaker on the issue.
Okay.
My name is Michelle Grockian. I represent the Los Angeles Business Council. The LABC represents over 350 members. We are very proud to be here today. We're a very long-time supporter of the NBC Universal Evolution Plan. We applaud NBC Universal's commitment to working with the community, both labor, business, environmental community. And you can see there's such a unanimous support for this project because of the numbers: $1.6 billion in investment, 30,000 jobs, commitment to the environment, commitment to transportation mitigation and transparency. And for these reasons, we support the project, and thank you very much for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, ma'am. So that does close public comment now. So public comment is officially closed. Deep sigh. So going back to our question, Mr. Foreman, and I had some concerns that were raised as we were getting to this point. Questions of the reference to the specific plan, the original image that spoke to what we were referring in terms, what was being referred to when it comes to the river improvement. So I want to make sure we have clarity in that language. Do we have that?
John Foreman, Planning Department. I believe that you're talking about what's referred to as Trailhead Park?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. The Trailhead Park, the project when it was originally submitted to the city included 3,000 residential units, and those units have now been removed. When it was a residential community, there was a area called Trailhead Park that was next to the LA River. And when we were at the Planning Commission, we were discussing the design of the park, and the commission put into their conditions that the exhibit to use for that was the one that was included, the figure included in the environmental impact report, not a new figure that was submitted to the Planning Commission. So that is the figure that we used in the commission determination. In addition to that, it's housed right now both in the queue conditions and in the development agreement, just because it was, again, originally part of the project, and when the project no longer had residential, there was no longer a requirement for them to provide public open space, but it was not clear to us that it had been removed from the Alternative 10 project. It didn't specifically remove it out, so right now we just left it in. It could be housed either in the development agreement as a public benefit or remain as a condition. We just need that decided.
You need to make a decision then.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Okay, so when will you make that decision?
I'm sorry?
When will you make that decision?
Well, we'll make that. We need that direction today. We did speak to our counterparts at County Regional Planning, and they're here. As they reviewed Alternative 10, they indicated that they also were not aware that the Trailhead Park was no longer a part of the project. They thought that the Trailhead Park was still included in Alternative 10, but again, it just wasn't clear in the alternative. So it's not a requirement of the entitlements that are being asked for, the developments for studio use, commercial office, hotel. There's no requirement for provision for open space.
Okay, so for the sake of clarity, what's in front of us? Are we going to make a decision now, or are we going to make a recommendation before it gets to council? We should have some consistency here as to what this committee is voting on.
Right. Since it's not a requirement to have the open space for the uses that are proposed, then we would recommend that it remain only in the development agreement as a public benefit, 0.9 acre public benefit, since it's not a requirement.
And your county counterparts are comfortable with that?
I'll let them testify.
I don't want to negotiate for them, but County, would you like to come on up and give us a perspective? Again, this is with the spirit of trying to move this along, but at the same time, we need clarity as to how we're going to cross our T's and dot our I's.
Sure. Thank you, Councilman Reyes. Samuel Day, LA County Regional Planning. As far as the park improvement, we do agree with your staff that is no longer a requirement of the project. So whether it's a terms of the development agreement or the conditions of approval, that's entirely up to you.
Okay.
Given that it's also in the city's jurisdiction as well.
Okay, so great. So staff will insert into the development agreement the language needed to move this forward, correct?
That's correct. And in addition, I believe there was an exhibit submitted today to the committee that indicates a different exhibit than the one that the Planning Commission approved.
So we're going to go with the commission's.
Yeah, we're here to represent the commission's recommendation.
Okay, so that'll be the action of this committee on that item. And if we need to change it, we can change it before it gets to committee. Unless NBC, you've been very patient. Come on up and just, I don't want to turn this into a negotiating session. It's just for the sake of clarity.
The revised exhibit on Trailhead Park, we believe represents the park that the commission and that staff talked about at our Planning Commission hearing. The only piece that's different is the plan that's in the EIR that they referred to was part of a residential development, so it has a connection back to our site that no longer is residential, and that is our private studio. So the actual Trailhead Park represents the drawing that was in the EIR. The only piece that was omitted is the piece that connects back to our private studio that in the previous evolution plan iteration was residential.
Does that include, and I saw one version, which I thought was the commission, which I thought was in front of us, has a side perspective, I mean, it has a perspective where you have it terraced back?
Yes, it includes the terraces. We've changed it so that it includes the terraces. All that was omitted was the piece that connected back to the studio lot, which was residential.
Can we do this? Can, between now and council, the two parties come into agreement with what is the version that we're going to vote on in council? So that way it doesn't turn into a back and forth at this time?
Sure.
And let's get some clarity there, because I don't want any ambiguity.
Sure.
So we can have a strong legal basis to stand on should we need to resort to that.
Okay.
But again, I don't want any, I want to be very clear what we're voting on. So you will submit a map where both council staff, along with planning staff, will agree with your version and their version and collapse it. Because it sounds like there's two pieces that you're agreeing on. There's one that's being left out. We just need to have an updated map.
Yes.
Okay,
we agree.
let's update that map then. Okay.
Thank you.
That's an important point. The second one, and it begs the question, does the city staff need time to speak with the county staff to make sure that what you are now recommending, they have the time to review so that there is a transition and a flow so it can function as one space? Can you do that between now and before it gets to council? So that way we don't have to hold it back?
Yes, we can, Councilman.
Are we comfortable with that? Okay, so that way we have that transition, we have that understanding, and we don't need to hold it back we don't have to delay any further. I never got an answer on the responses to Councilor Krikorian's and Councilor Labange's recommendations. Can you provide that for me, please?
Yes, sir. For the record, the recommendations of the elected officials do not conflict with the City Planning Commission's recommendation. They just identify and increase the public benefits and provide clarity.
Okay. Now, because of the, I want to respond to the public comment, the issue of impacts that are in the county portion of the project, but negatively affecting the city portion of the neighborhood. Have we had discussion on that, and how are we responding to that assertion? Can anyone,
Councilman, could I try and respond to that?
please?
Renee Weitzman for Councilman Tom LaBonge. You know, we were the first ones to create a committee regarding noise issues, specifically for the Blair Drive residents that abut the back lot of Universal. For 2 years, we've been meeting with NBC, with Supervisor Zavierslawski's office to try and mitigate some of those noise issues. NBC has been working very hard creating buffers and walls and all kinds of things, and it's an ongoing committee working on those issues. The problem is that Mr. Fred Gaines would like to have is he'd like to have the city include conditions, but the city cannot enforce, our building and safety people cannot enforce conditions on the county land. Even though the residents are city residents and abut the county land, but we cannot enforce conditions on county land regarding filming. And so when it comes to the county hearings, they will address those issues, but we will obviously continue to work with the studio and the residents.
But the assumption is that County Supervisor Jaroslawski will respond to issues.
Yes, he will.
And the spirit of cooperation seems to be there, given your current status with this conversation. Could
Right.
please come on up?
Yeah.
This is for the record, because I want to make sure that we responded, and these are rather serious considerations we need to review. Yes, sir.
No, thank you, Councilman. Ben Saltzman from Supervisor Jaroslawski's office. We agree these are absolutely key issues, and the county will continue to address it in partnership with the studio and the City of Los Angeles as the process continues.
So Mr. Gaines will know where to go when it comes to that concern.
He and I spoke at this hearing, and we will continue to do so.
So do we referee a wrestling match here, or arm wrestle, or?
It would be fun. I don't think it'll be necessary. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Last but not least, can we respond to the letter submitted by Latham and Watkins? I understand we have a letter that I'm hoping you had time to review.
Thank you. We have, Councilman, for the record, I'm Mariana with the Department of City Planning, and my counterpart.
Alvanini O'Donnell with LA City Planning.
In response to the Latham and Watkins letter dated October 23rd, we generally agree with the edits, although we'd like to comment on just a couple for the record as a point of clarification. Starting on page B1, the proposed section 3.3 to development agreement language. This addresses the definition of premises as it relates to on and off-site signage. And in light of the fact that we will be discussing the signage component of this project on Thursday, we'd ask that we defer this portion of the development agreement language until we have instructions from the City Planning Commission.
Okay.
The next page, B2, under 6.9 assignment, we need to add some language that was inserted by our City Planning Commissioner, Dana. After the word assigned, we should add with the reasonable consent of the city.
Okay.
And as you've addressed and asked us to identify and be clear on the Trailhead Park, that will be reflected in attachment C on page C-1.
Okay.
We will have that ready for council.
Okay.
On page D1, project design feature F-4, the notation CI represents city. We like to add CO for county.
Okay.
And we have had the opportunity to review what is included in this condition with our counterparts present, and they're agreeable, so we are following the provisions of our MOU.
Okay. In reference to the...
This is in reference to the total number of cubic yards that will be moved within the city portions and between the city and the county portions of the project site.
Okay. On another... I want to make sure you're finished. Are you finished?
Last one.
Oh, please.
On page E6, the language related to Mulholland Scenic Parkway specific plan, which has been stricken, we recommend that it remains. However, we need to add the word not after specific plan amendment is not, and that's the second line from the bottom of this portion. And that would change the definition, and that would be consistent with what we're recommending.
Okay, so that last point addresses the role of the specific plan?
Yes, sir.
And are you comfortable, given our discussions with our advisors from the city attorney's office, that we have enough clarity to move forward?
Yes.
Okay.
And as a point of clarification, as has been advised to us by our city attorney consistently, the terms of the development agreement should be consistent with our environmental analysis. And in this case, we've studied out to year 2030, which is a term of 18 years. Currently, we identify a 25-year term, and we ask that throughout that be stricken and changed to an 18-year term for the development agreement, so as to be consistent with our environmental analysis.
Okay. Anything else that we should bring up in terms of clarity and moving forward?
We just have a few editorial corrections we'd like to add to the record, and Elva will expand on those.
We submitted just some minor clarifications and edits on here, and then based on the action today, the recommendation on moving the Trailhead Park to the development agreement, on this page 2, we're going to strike this language that we originally had modified as open space, and that language will now be moved to the development agreement. Other than that, they're just minor typographical errors and clarification errors.
And that could be corrected before it gets to council?
Yes, definitely.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's all.
All right. My assumptions are, Mr. Milton, that between now and council, we can continue having this conversation if needed, in concert with the council office and the county, and hopefully have the city family, both city attorney and planning, involved as well. Because this is a complex but very important project. I want to make sure that we're all on the same page. Any questions from my colleagues or any observations, any comments, Councilman?
Just a statement. This project has been going on for a long time, and there's been so many opportunities for folks to weigh in on it on so many levels. And I want to throw out just the observation from not just what NBC Universal has done with their team and reaching out to all the stakeholders. When this first was launched, it was one of the major controversial issues in one of the biggest projects in the San Fernando Valley, and has been one of the largest proposed projects in the valley for many, many years. And the outreach that NBC Universal has done, working with the council offices, has really been tremendous. And I'll tell you, just from a council office perspective, on dealing with large projects like this, even small ones, and I think it was stated earlier that even trying to put in a grocery store, or a simple supermarket, or a liquor store, or a school in a community, those bring out the best people and the worst of people. They get, when you start talking about impact to a neighborhood, it wakes up a sleeping giant, and everybody wants to weigh in on it. And this is huge. It's a $1.6 billion project, and that's just the design and construction. That doesn't even go on to talk about the externalities of benefits and long-term financial profits and benefits to the local community and the economy, which is really magnified tremendously. And with that, so are the impacts. And the impacts that were set off to mitigate this project at the onset, that were also coupled with the housing elements, the fact that those mitigations remain, even though a huge portion of the project was taken away and scaled back, really goes on a lot to talk about not only the institution and the company, NBC Universal, and what they've done, but the outreach team and the council offices and the neighbors and the neighborhood councils that have spent countless hours poring over literally every block and every intersection, the park design, the river, all of the major issues involved, from lighting and noise. is really just an incredible, epic moment to have the ability to vote now on a project, knowing that we'll be voting again soon to put 30,000 jobs and people to work immediately, which we desperately need here in Los Angeles. But it also sends another message, and the message of that this is Hollywood, and we want to film here. We want to keep filming here. We want to make sure that it's not just NBC Universal, but it's the city as well, laying out the red carpet, if you will, making sure that it's not runaway production anymore or ran-away production, but we're investing here locally in future production. And so I really look forward to telling my grandkids about the ability that I had, the brief moment in time where I was a city council member and this tremendous project came before me, and I saw it unfold, not only in the media, but on the streets of LA, and all the conversations and dialogue from going to all the chamber meetings, all the community outreach meetings, and I attended quite a few as well over the years. To see this unfold and just to be part of it is really very unique, where we get these opportunities in life. We had one recently on the stadium. If we can do we get a football team with this? No.
No, but you could sell hot dogs.
We can sell hot dogs.
Yeah.
Well, and we've heard here that you can start selling hot dogs at NBC Universal and work your way all the way up to the top, and that really says a lot about NBC Universal as well. So, my hat's off to everybody that was involved in this, good, bad, or indifferent. The fact that you weighed in on it to make a difference is tremendous, and I'm really delighted and excited to vote yes on this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Linder. Councilman Weezar.
Without repeating a lot of what Mr. Englander said, I'm just going to say ditto to that, and just that this is, we recently did quite a bit to help the film and movie industry stay in Los Angeles, but this is actually investing in the actual infrastructure to make that possible. So it's not just about passing policies and legislation to support it, but also to have NBC Universal invest in infrastructure. That speaks volumes. So I think this is a great partnership. Sounds like most everyone now came on board, from the trades to the local community, et cetera. It's one more issue with Local 11, but as it goes on, I hope you guys continue those discussions. But this is a good thing for the region, it's a good thing for the city, and it's a good thing for our young people who are going to go see some attractions nearby. So it's my kid, including my kids. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Councilmember. So with that, I do want to emphasize my thank all the parties for the cooperative nature of this process, and we all understand the urgency. Well, thank the staff again for your sacrifices. I know how much you've worked in this, and you guys are the unsung heroes. And again, I'm grateful for that effort, and the city also. That being said, I'm going to go through these directives, Roberto, and keep me in check as I go through it. And here we go. We approve the September 27, 2012 recommendations of the Planning Commission relative to a general plan amendment, zone change ordinance, and certify the final environmental impact report and adopt the environmental findings and statement of overriding considerations and project findings, and request LAFCO to consider the following: a pre-annexation agreement and annexation of land, an amendment to the city's sphere of influence, and the detachment of land to the unincorporated county of Los Angeles. I don't think I'll ever be able to say that again, but that's a pretty big move. 2, request the city attorney to prepare the development agreement between Universal City Studios, LLP, LP, and the city for an 18-year term. And then finally, to incorporate the recommended changes as stated by, and amendments as stated by the respective council members in this hearing.
Right, those amendments were relative to public benefits.
Relative to public benefits.
By Councilmember LaBranche and Councilmember Krikorian.
Great.
Okay.
So I think that does encompass.
Well, also, Councilmember, there were a couple additional ones. The letter by Latham that was submitted with the changes, and in addition to that, the edits that the planning department did to that letter that Latham submitted. In addition, the issue of the Trailhead Park, that issue was going to be referred to the development agreement. That was another one. And the issue of noise, that issue will be handled by the LA County Commission.
Okay, they can have more fun with it. That being said, anything else we should include?
That's what I recall.
Are we covered, planning staff, are we okay? John, I see you mouthing something here.
John Foreman, just wanted to make sure that you recommended full council certify the environmental impact report.
Okay, and that's for the record. Anything else? I've been throwing the kitchen sink. Nothing? That's everything? Okay. All right, well, congratulations, and it is unanimous, and that is the vote, and the action of this committee. Congratulations. All right, good job, Mitch. All right, anybody here for public comment on the special agenda? Seeing none, this meeting is adjourned.